everybody, and welcome into another edition of Jags Live. It's presented by EcoSouth Services. We're live from walk-ons like we are every Wednesday during football season. JT Crabtree and Pat Greenwood talking another week of South Alabama football. It's a big one. It's rivalry week on campus and, of course, on the road, too, because that's where we'll be playing. We've got the tight ends in the house. Tight ends coach Kyle Skierski almost knocked the camera over there. Of course, head coach Major Applewhite will join us as well. We've got a full show here this evening.
It's going to be fun. Look, you still got time to come down to walk-ons on Airport Boulevard. We've got the belt in-house.
Yep.
Belt is sitting on our table. We got free Beat Troy T-shirts. So if you're here, we've got with these white T-shirts in the back that say Beat Troy. We encourage you to wear that anywhere you want.
Of course.
At any point. Of course, obviously on Saturday, but anytime you can wear a Beat Troy shirt. That's not a bad thing. So come on down. We'd love to have you. But if we've got a group on Facebook Live as well, you can see the belt. And that belt needs to stay in our possession. We've got a chance to make that happen this Saturday night.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've won back-to-back matchups with the Troy Trojans. It's been a while since we've won in Troy as well. But you know what? What better time to do that than this weekend?
Well, and look, they're I think 3-point favorite, and if you go by the maxim of the 3 points gives you the home field advantage,
right,
then they're basically saying it's an even ball game. And I think so. We don't know a lot about Troy. I think that's the thing. I mean, I say we. I know the coaching staff does.
Sure.
But from what I've been able to see from Troy, I just don't have a grasp of what they are capable of doing. I have a grasp of what we are capable of doing. I don't think we've shown it consistently in the first couple of games. But I know that we can be pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And I don't have a doubt that we can go to Troy and get this win. And, boy, how huge would that be? Because, we were in a similar situation last year.
Mm-hmm.
Troy comes to our place. We get that win, kind of jump-started our season. And we've got everything in front of us. I can't say that enough. We've got 7 games left, 6 against the Western Division. So we're going to play everybody in our division.
Yep.
We got one more game against Georgia State, which is in the East. We have no room for error. The margin's gone.
Sure.
Okay? But we can get to the Sun Belt Conference Championship game by winning our football games.
Yeah.
I mean, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, that's all you need.
I mean, that's it.
And you were talking there about Troy. They're kind of an oddity right now because, one, they're coming off of bye weeks. There's no telling what they've changed in the week in preparation for this game. But also, even before the bye week, they had changed things up defensively. They changed their scheme mid-season. They've had to change things up offensively out of necessity because they've had an injury to their quarterback, Goose Crowder, who hasn't played since week 2. And so Tucker Kilcrease is obviously not the same quarterback that Kilcrease is. Uwe Ale, the third-string quarterback, I had to roll my head back a bit and remember how to pronounce his name. But he's played a little bit as well.
Right.
And so, I'm sure they're going to come out on Saturday and throw the kitchen sink at us and throw plenty of stuff that we haven't seen from them. But also, same from us. We're going to go up there and throw them some stuff they haven't seen either.
But here's the deal, and you can say this consistently when you talk about Troy. They're going to be well coached. They're going to have good athletes. They've got a good home field crowd behind them. So, we're never in a situation where we roll the football out and we just win football games, right? I don't think there's any team in America now, especially with the portal and all the things that happen, that nobody can do that anymore. But I do think, top to bottom, we're a better football team if we can just get rid of the missed tackles that we've had some issues with. If we can get rid of either a penalty or a fumble or a snap or something that just goes wrong to derail a drive, because when we click on all cylinders, I'll take us against anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not. Yes, I'm red, white, and blue glasses all the time. But I'm absolutely positive that with the players we've got, with the scheme we've got, with the coaches we've got, we can play with anybody in this conference. We can win this conference. We've just got to do it consistently. And I cannot wait for the day that light switch comes on, and I'm really hoping it's Saturday.
Yeah, and it's a 6 o'clock kickoff this coming weekend. It's the first time since 2017 that we've had a night kickoff on a Saturday at Troy.
Right.
It's hard to believe it's been that long.
Yeah.
It's almost been 10 years.
Well, and it's always been one of those, the Tuesday night game or the Thursday night game or Wednesday or whatever it may be. But this one will be on ESPN Plus, so no network coverage this year. So you'll be watching the Troy broadcast, doing kind of similar to what we do when we have home games on ESPN Plus. So yeah, it's not typical of what we see with this rivalry. And that's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the weather's going to be perfect. Look, you know, as much as you can say what you want about Troy, that stadium is nice.
Yep.
It's a good atmosphere. And, you know, yeah, it's just going to be a fun night. And it would be more fun if this belt right in front of us goes back on the bus and we keep it here in Mobile.
Yeah, I had to. I saw it earlier in the lobby of the football facility, and I was like, I had to double check. So we etched 2024 on that belt, right?
Dang right we did.
Yeah, and so I want to get 2025 on there when we get this thing back coming up here this weekend. We've got plenty of football to talk about. We've got, of course, soccer and volleyball. Soccer will be back home this weekend. They've got a road matchup coming up tomorrow with a good ULM squad before we host Arkansas State on Sunday. It feels like forever that we've had a home soccer. I know that hasn't been the case because we've had a match, but we weren't there because we were on the road at Auburn for football. But it feels like we haven't done a home soccer game in a while.
Well, it's because we had 6 games in a row at home. And so it was one of those things that was every other day. It seemed like we had a soccer match at the Cage. But, yeah, they're back home on Sunday. So 1 o'clock, I think, is the kick for that soccer game.
Yep.
And then, of course, volleyball. We've got the volleyball highlights rolling here in at Walk-Ons. And it's you can go to jagnationtv.com and check out those highlights. But maybe it's a good omen because we played Troy Friday and Saturday in volleyball, and we beat them 3-1 each time. So let's continue beating Troy from volleyball now to football.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. It's again, a 6 o'clock kickoff this weekend for South Alabama at Troy for football. We'll continue talking some football, of course, as we roll along here. When we take a quick timeout, when we come back, we'll talk a lot of tight ends for the next couple of segments.
The big guys.
Yes, the big guys. They don't get enough love up there. You know,
I
the
agree.
offensive linemen with the tight ends as well. They don't get enough love. So we'll talk about them when we come back. Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services, rolls on when we return. All right, time to talk some tight ends down here at Walk-Ons. We've got not one but 2 segments lined up for the tight ends. And
24-hour service and 100%.
We'll cut that off there for you real quick. But tight ends coach Kyle Skierski, tight end Trent Thomas, the hometown kid, joins us now. Guys, good to see y'all.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Let's start off. You know, just 5 games in, Coach. We'll start with you. Just overall, how are things going with the tight end group so far?
You know, I think it's a daily battle, right? Like we've won our first game. You know, had really good games, tight games. Didn't come out with the result that we wanted, and you know the kind of focus for our unit is really the same as the team's. It's just continuing to get better and gear up for conference play. This is everything that we want is still in front of us, and it'll start with Troy on Saturday.
And let's expand on that, Trent. Talk about the mindset of this team right now, because as Coach said, everything's in front of us. All we got to do is start winning football games.
Yeah. So the record may not, reflect how we're feeling in our locker room and in our tight end room, and we know that, everything that we want is still ahead of us. So we're still grinding. We're still determined to finish the season out strong.
Coach, you and I talked before the season started that you guys ask a lot of your tight ends, not just in the running game, in the passing game, and everything that they do. Can you kind of walk us through what is asked of a tight end at South Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, really the same anywhere. The position is just a super unique position. There's positions, quarterback, receiver, that maybe don't get the physical aspect of the game. And there's positions like O-line that don't get the speed, agility, the constant running. We ask these guys to do it, both of them, every day in practice. So, and then you throw in our offense, which is, a dynamic offense. These guys block on the perimeter, they block in the core, they run short routes, they run deep routes. It's a lot from a learning standpoint. And then, there's only so much time to practice fundamentals when, you're an offensive lineman, you run block, you pass block. We even protect. We have a protection aspect to what we do too. So we pass block, we run block, we catch balls, we block on the perimeter. So you can't be, a one-trick pony. You kind of got to be a jack of all trades.
And I asked Miller this a couple of weeks ago, and Trent, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Is it more fun to catch a pass and run over somebody, or to pancake somebody?
For me, it's obvious catching a pass and running over somebody. But we all have different strengths. So, if you're asked to block, it's still fun to pancake somebody as well.
All right, now that said, I talked to your brother yesterday. I think it was in practice. I said, who works harder, the tight ends or the defensive line? He said clearly defensive line.
Of course he said
wrong.
You've got your chance now to respond.
Of course he said that. No, I think we work way harder than they do. Yeah. Pussy said that.
Do y'all ever get tangled up in practice?
We have before, yes.
Who wins that one?
I do. Every time.
There you go.
They do.
There you
It's
go.
just, the position they both play, like, they're matched up on each other more often than they're not, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
How often do you guys get matched up?
It's quite often.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I go against them quite often. It's fun. It's good.
How much before you guys got here and rejoined back at South Alabama did you guys go against each other? Were you both one side of the football, one the other?
Yeah, no. So before we got here, we didn't go out against each other much because we're both defense and then both offense. So this is really the first time that we went against each other.
Okay.
I've seen them a few times kind of mix it up and talk a little trash to each other. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
Good friendly competition.
Yeah, and it carries over to home too. So.
Well, Coach, brag on these guys right here. I mean, you've got some guys that, as you said, don't always get recognized for what they do, but you see it on film. You see what they're doing in practice. Talk about how hard this tight ends room works.
I do, and I see it, but I think a lot of people see it. Sometimes, I've had conversations with these guys. Sometimes they may not realize, how much people see, just because they don't always come up to you and tell you those things. But I'm super proud of our room. I've recruited a lot of these guys. I love having them over to the house. It's a great room. And I've told JT before, I think we have 7 states, represented, which I think is super cool. Like all different backgrounds, raised by different family members, different states. And they get along really well. They care about each other. Just like anything, like when you spend this much time together, brothers fight, so they'll get on each other, they'll push each other, but it's a great room. I'm super proud of it.
All right, Trent, this probably isn't fair because Rod's not going to join us till the next segment, but you guys are both ballers. You both who? Who's winning one-on-one here?
Me, every time. He can't guard me.
Rod's got his hand up right now.
He cannot guard me.
I don't know. And Miller's a basketball player.
Okay.
Nate Forsteck is a basketball player. I think my money would be on Trent, though. I think that's where my money would be.
Well, what about you? Can you hoop?
Nope.
Never
Never.
done it all?
No, these guys all played high school basketball. I didn't do that. I can't claim that.
Well, to talk about the cheering section you've got here, though, that's pretty cool to have your family here.
Yeah, I like when my players are around. I like my players to see me as a dad and a husband too.
Yeah.
My parents are in town from California, so they're here hanging out, and they usually come for some point of the season and help my wife, who's a single mom for about 13 weeks. So they usually come and give her a little bit of a break, and my dad trims all the mows the lawn and does all the things I probably should be doing, and when I'm working.
Now, she just rolled her eyes when you said 13 weeks. She said,
Yeah, it's probably more. It's probably more.
40, 45,
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in there. It's changed. We got a transfer portal now. We got all sorts of stuff. It's changing the game. So.
Well, Trent, you've got obviously teammates with like Coach was saying there, with a lot of unique personalities and from different places. How cool is it to have that kind of mashup of guys to play with?
No, it's very cool. The room is never dry. It's always fun to be in, and that that brotherhood that we have in the room, it carries on to the field as well. So.
And you got Troy this week. Is there been extra juice at practice this
Yes.
week? Talk about how different Troy week is.
Yeah, so it's different. Troy week is different. It's different atmosphere, different level of energy, and we know we're gonna have to carry that going into enemy territory to win this game. So. Yeah.
And Trent being he's my Alabama guy in the room, so
Right.
obviously it means something to him. He was probably recruited by both schools. You can probably talk about that, but I have Rod, who was involved in the rivalry last year, and Miller actually had a big win at Arkansas State when he played for the Wolves last year. So there's guys in the room that are familiar with Troy, familiar with the rivalry. So we're excited for it, man. We know it's going to be a war. It's going to be rivalry games are different.
Yeah, and that's fun, right? Like you guys want these games, you want to play in that, you want to go to Troy and play in that hostile atmosphere. It's what you play for, right?
I'm glad we have it right now. You know what I mean? Like this is a way for us to get back on track and to kind of propel us to where we want to go, because the way college football is, you've got to play some of the big SEC schools. You have to do some of those things as a Sun Belt school, but it's almost like preseason. Like conferences, we want to win our conference, play in a conference championship game, and go to a major bowl game. Like those are the things that we want. So this is a great way to kind of get on track.
If you weren't a tight ends coach, what position would you coach?
So my whole career I was O-line,
Right.
So that's why these guys laugh at me when we talk about routes. But that's what I've been my whole life, and I was here as an analyst. Coach Applewhite asked me to coach the tight ends, and it was an awesome opportunity, so I jumped on it. And football's football. I've been an offensive
24
coordinator
hour
before.
service, 100% guaranteed.
I've called plays before, so not much different.
Trent, you're from Mobile, went to College Hill Christian. Just what's it like just to play in your hometown, man?
Oh, it's great. All the home games, there's always people there supporting us. So it's good to be able to play in front of a family and friends that you grow up with. So it's great.
So what would a win mean to this program right now, and what do we have to do to get there?
I think we got to just keep playing our brand of football. It would mean a ton. Number one, the rivalry. I can't remember the exact record, but it's like 4-9. Am I close on that?
4-9. That's right.
Yeah, it's 4-9, and it's not in our favor. So that matters to me. I think it matters to the guys in the team, especially these guys that have been maybe recruited by Troy, passed on by Troy, guys from the state. But I mean, it would mean everything. And what we got to do is we got to go out there and we have to know that it's a 4-quarter game, and it's there's going to be punches thrown on both sides, and play our brand of football and come out with a win.
Tight ends coach Kyle Skierski and tight end Trent Thomas joined us down here at Walk-Ons. Guys, appreciate the time. Good to see you all.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good luck this weekend. Let's keep that belt home. How about that?
That's right.
All right, so that's, again, Kyle Skierski and Trent Thomas joined us here from Walk-Ons. We'll take a quick timeout. Some more tight ends will join us. Rod Gibbs and Miller McCrumbie join us when we come back. Well, let's just keep talking tight ends.
Let's do it.
We've got a lot of talented dudes in that position group, and joining us now, Miller McCrumbie and Rod Gibbs will join us now. Guys, good to see you.
What's up? How y'all doing?
How y'all doing? Good, man.
Let's first start off with just how excited are you guys to play this football game here this weekend?
Real excited. We ain't been inside all season, I don't feel like. This is my obviously coming from Arkansas State, we played Troy and it was a rival, but I've known of the history with South and Troy, and so it's going to be fun to get out there for the first time.
And how different has practice been? How different has preparation been?
The intensity since the 7 a.m. meeting been the intensity from this week through the past weeks we've been playing. We ready just to go out there and play Troy. For sure. Yeah, energy throughout the building, coaching staff, training room, players, all that. Just feels different.
And that's fun, right? Like this.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean,
sure.
I was up there at practice today. You guys were getting after it.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
But the thing is, and what the coaches say is absolutely true. Everything's in front of us. So talk about the mentality. Rob, we'll start with you. Talk about the mentality that this team has, because Sunbelt Conference Championship, still very attainable. All we got to do is win football games.
Only thing it is, our team, we got a lot of fight in us. We all gonna play as a team to try to get the end goal that we all want. Even though the record not saying what we put on film every practice, but this Saturday we looking for that win to display what we've been working on.
You guys both obviously didn't start your football careers at South Alabama. Miller, we'll start with you. You were already in the conference. You're playing with Arkansas State and transferred over here to the Jags. Just what made you want to come down here over to South Alabama?
I've been watching, obviously playing at Arkansas State. We play South Alabama every year, and they had a really good tight end, DJ Thomas. So every year I'm watching him catch sliders, catch verticals, and, it's always been in the back of my head, like I want to be used more. And then I got down here and met Coach Skierski, met Coach Applewhite, met Coach Petrino, and felt like it was natural, felt like it was the right spot.
And Rod, for you came from the JUCO ranks. What made you want to come over here?
Just coming from JUCO and seeing how often they use their tight ends, how we use 12, or you got blue personnel, silver personnel. There's always a tight end being used in any aspect of the game. So that what caught my attention to come to South.
More importantly, though, Trent says he can take you in hoops. Now, you got the chance. You got the microphone now, so you can respond to what he just said there.
I don't think Trent got me. I don't think Trent got me. And I don't like how I really wasn't included with the conversation on the
exactly.
hooping.
So could you take both of them?
For sure.
Okay.
Nah, if we played a game with like 21, like king of the court, I feel like I'm coming out on top.
I like it. I think we've got a good idea here. I think
Trent's shaking his head over here.
We're gonna have to wait till after the football season so we don't get anybody injured.
We don't need nobody hurt right now.
But let's talk about just this position. I know you guys didn't play tight end, as little kids. What other positions did you play? When did you realize, okay, tight end's probably the best spot for me?
So, for me, I really didn't play football all the way up to my senior year. So, first I started off as a DN for like 2 games that it wasn't really working out. Then one of my coaches just threw me at tight end, and since that day, he saw me have like natural instincts to the game, so he just told me I should take it more serious.
Okay. Miller, what about you?
I was like, I'm opposite of Rod. I played football since I was like a walk. So and I was always a bigger receiver, more physical receiver. And then I got to high school. I think my sophomore, junior year, we go to camps, and I can't run no 4.4, no 4.5. I can run though, but it's not like, you know what I'm saying, receiver speed. So I noticed that there's a bunch of mismatches that you can get opportunities. And tight end's a fun position because you get to do it all. You get to hit people, and you get to catch the ball. Who don't want to do that?
Did you ever play defense at all?
Nah, I was never on the defensive side. I've always been on the right side of the ball.
Okay, all right.
So, I mean, have you done special teams like kick coverage and had to go hit somebody and something like that?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Kick out return, kick coverage, punt return. I've been on all of them. So.
All right. Well, Rod, you mentioned there you didn't play a lot of football growing up. What kind of started that for you?
Well, me just getting to the 12th grade, you know, that's when stuff started to really get serious, like you're trying to figure out what you want to do with yourself outside of high school. So I had a lot of talks with my parents, my teammates, coaches, just to see what should be my best foot moving forward. And they said just try it out. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But if you find a natural instinct to just play.
And you got into the end zone.
Yeah.
Against North Texas. Tell us about
cool.
tell us about that play and that moment of, man, here's my first collegiate touchdown.
It was big. It don't look like I cared that much on TV, but in all honesty, it was a big moment for me. Just on the inside, I was just trying to win the game.
All right, tight end Miller McCrumbie and Rod Gibbs join us down here at walk-ons. Guys, we got to keep this belt here at home this weekend.
We're gonna
right?
bring
Oh,
it
for
back.
sure, yeah, nah.
It'll be back.
It'll be here next year, for sure.
It'll be back at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I like it. I like it.
Guys, appreciate it. Best of luck here coming up this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all.
All right. Rod Gibbs, Miller McCrumbie, tight ends for South Alabama, join us down here at walk-ons. We'll take a quick timeout. The show rolls on when we come back. Good stuff there with the tight ends down here at walk-ons with Coach Skierski, Rod Gibbs, Trent Thomas, Miller McCrumbie. It's a good conversation with those guys.
They're big dudes, man.
Yeah.
You know, anytime that you know, I played football through 8th grade. I didn't even attempt it in high school. I was way too small. I didn't grow until my junior year of high school. Not that I'm big now, but I was less than 5 feet, less than 100 pounds going into high school. And they had Keith McCants at Murphy at that particular point, and yeah,
He was all right.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to run track. So I ran track. But no, you get these guys in.
The coach just walks right in front of the camera.
Right in front of the camera. Well, that's okay. But no, you get these guys and you see them, or you're next to them, and you're like, yeah, okay, that's why I didn't play football.
Sure.
I'm not the big guy by any stretch.
No, it's that seems like a fun group to be. Like Coach was saying, you've got so many different guys from different places. I'm sure that makes things fun, and
Sure.
you don't have to experience the same thing every day. It's not boring in that realm.
Well, the other thing is, and I'll say this honestly, I look at Coach Skierski. He can still play, man. He's a big dude too, and I would be interested to see him mixing it up with some of the guys because I'm pretty sure he can still play.
Yeah, for sure. And he played over in Europe for a little while too.
Yeah, exactly. So I would be interested to see, but I really want to see that one-on-one basketball or the king of the court basketball thing. And I'm really intrigued by that. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Way after the season.
Sure.
Way after the season.
Yeah, it's like was it the cornerbacks last week were talking about jet skis, and it's like no, don't talk about that in season. No. That's what you did in the summer.
Put that idea in your head.
That's what you did in the summer.
We don't want to lose our job.
It's a 6 o'clock kickoff this weekend for South Alabama and the annual battle for the belt, and of course we've got the belt down here at Walk-Ons as well. We hope to have it here at Walk-Ons again next week. When we have our next show. By the way, we will have a show next week. I know we don't play next Saturday, but we will have a show next week. The Wednesday after the Arkansas State game, we will actually have as our kind of basketball preview show. And then we won't have a show after that because the team's traveling to Georgia State on a Wednesday for that Thursday night game. So we'll get all that cleaned up, and then we'll be back to a regular schedule when we get to it come November. And Coach Major Applewhite joins us now. Coach, good to see you.
Good to see you. How you doing?
Doing good.
Man.
Let's talk about just how's the week been going so far?
Good. Had good practices. Guys are excited about this one.
You know, they talk about the practices being different in a rivalry game. Is it really? I mean, I know you're doing fundamentally the same things, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, is there extra to it?
Yeah, there's a little extra. You know, you can tell in early part of practice. Once they get into practice, they settle into a groove and they're into a practice groove. But You can feel it at the beginning of practice, after practice, leading up to practice in the locker room and meetings, going from meeting to meeting. You can feel that the energy is a little different. You can't avoid it.
Was that the same situation for you as a player, like when Texas A&M was coming to town? Was it just a little different?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but you knew it.
Yeah.
You knew it, and you know it, and that's a big part of it. Coach Brown, being in the staff meeting when I was an actual assistant for him, he asked a question to a guy who had coached at Oklahoma and said, what do they do up there? And, it's not that the game wasn't important at Texas or Coach Brown didn't make it important. Just some of the stuff that they were doing up there, we're like, oh, okay, all right, probably need to up our ante.
Yeah.
If that's, how serious you take it, in terms of how you present it to the team and how much it matters year-round is important. And then secondly, the thing that I've felt in these rivalries is the older team. The older team who's been through these emotions, been through the locker rooms, the half times, the momentum swings, the away crowd, the older team that has played in this, usually they have a better chance.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that kind of, being through some of these rivalries for 25 years, it's like, because I've been in that Red River rivalry for a bunch, and the young team struggles in that environment, and then I've gone in there with a young team in 2011 and lost by 49, and then going in there 2 years later with the older team and won by 21. Yeah. So it's you see it.
You mentioned it. You brought up a great point on Monday about there's kind of, in this day and age of college football, requires a little bit of education sometimes with these rivalry games. You got a guy like Miller who's been at Arkansas State that's seen the game from the outside and kind of knows about it, but you got to educate a little bit about what it is to be in this rivalry, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's everywhere. I mean, it 30, 40 years ago, everybody played for State U, and it's not that way anymore. You've got new guys in and out the door with the portal, and some guys geographically that don't even know. They're in our state. They're in the state of Alabama. Because this guy's from Minnesota or California or wherever. So you have to absolutely educate them and help them understand what the rivalry means to the campus, to the alums, and how you're representing our university.
And I know coaches hate to hear this, and they don't want to say it, but we're close, right? I mean, we are. There are little things that we haven't done consistently enough in order to achieve that goal. How close are we to flipping that switch and all of a sudden becoming one of, if not the best team in the Sun Belt?
Yeah, I mean, we need to hit our stride. We need to all play at the same time. There's been parts of Auburn, parts of Tulane, parts of North Texas where we've looked like a good football team against a really good football team.
Right.
And then there's times where we played average as grits, and then sometimes we played terrible for and that was my thing a week or two ago. Was just 3 or 4 minutes doesn't make you unless we continue to make those same kind of mistakes fundamentally and situationally. So we've got to obviously as coaches we got to do a better job of preparing them for those moments or not putting them in situations where they can make those mistakes. But yeah, I'm not big on kind of peer,
right.
moral. But yes, we've played well at times. We need to put it together for 4 quarters against a quality team, and we're going to win one of those 3 games. And then again, Coastal Carolina, I just didn't think we even played well.
Yeah.
At times, there was small times.
Right.
We didn't even play well. And those other 3 losses, I thought we played well at times and gave ourselves a chance to go win the game. In 2 of those 3, Auburn a little bit outmatched.
Yeah.
All right, but those other 2 games we had opportunities to go either win the game or take control of the ball game, and we didn't. And that's where we as a staff have to help a younger team in those situations. And so I think we're going to have to have a big game from a staff standpoint Saturday night, and putting these guys in a situation to settle into the ball game and then go win the ball game.
You talk about putting them in a situation. You've got Troy obviously with going to be a good crowd, big environment and whatnot coming up this weekend. You guys have been doing a lot to get the guys ready for that with that simulated crowd noise and whatnot. It's been loud up there at practice.
Yeah. I mean, as much as you can, help people see the whole deal. What's the whole deal, Major? Like the whole deal is just the atmosphere. From what does the locker room look like? What is the walk from the locker room to the tunnel? It's a long walk. It's a 5-6 minute walk. It's unbelievable. It's the longest walk I've ever seen from a locker room to a game field. It should be some kind of NCAA regulation. No, nonetheless. All those things, because you're dealing with 18, 19, 21-year-olds that, man, why are we doing that? You gotta explain it. And the biggest thing is just helping the guys understand when you turn that tape on and you see that end zone and it's mattered, with some people, it will not be like that Saturday night. It will be full. Every seat in that end zone that you see in that day game against Memphis or that day game against Nicholls State, that will be full. The effort that those guys are playing with against Memphis, albeit a team that they're an underdog to, you will get a better effort than that, twice as good effort. So it's one of those games, and I remember having an older player when I played in the Texas OU game for the first time explain to me, like, Major, it happens lower, faster, and louder than you've ever been in a game. And didn't take me but about one series to realize, yes, he is 100% right. But that's what we try to do, with it, whether it be crowd noise, all those type of things. You try to emulate the game day.
What have you been most pleased with in practice this week?
The guys, in terms of, we can't tackle our guys, but in terms of thudding,
Right.
and getting in better position, seeing better fundamentals, because we're going to play a team that runs the football, and we're going to have to be in positions. They got bigger wideouts, big bodies. They got some guys that aren't as big, but they're quick as heck. So, I mean, you got to be able to be in position. So that's probably been the biggest thing. Other than just the general excitement for the game, it's been just the focus on trying to put ourselves in better position to be tacklers.
You mentioned it there, and some folks at home maybe don't understand this. We can't sit there and just tackle our own guys every single play, every single practice.
No.
There's that fine line you got to dance to, healthy, but also get your reps.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember vividly, like, whenever I played and for other coaches, we had 3 tackle days in the spring with Coach Saban, and when I was a full-time and an analyst. It was 2 scrimmages in the spring game. And then you had 3 days in fall camp that were full tackle, and those were the 2 scrimmages and the last one. Or the last, it was kind of a modified scrimmage, but that was it. I mean, you're just not going to sit there and break your own toys, so you've got to be smart about when you're going to do this and how you do it, and what, people you're putting against each other, or you can end up with, with a triage clinic instead of a football team.
Well, and I don't think people realize that, too, because they're, back in my day, we used to do that.
Back in your day, they had unlimited scholarships.
Right.
Back in your day, they didn't have a portal that if you tackled too much and hit too much, kids got pissed and left. So, there's a lot of things that have changed, and you got to evolve with it. But at the end of the day, none of that matters. We have to tackle better, and we've got to get in position to go do that. And I felt like we did a better job of that this week, the last 2 days.
Well, Coach, we'll take a quick timeout. We'll start a deeper dive into schematics of Troy coming up here on Saturday. Take a quick timeout. Jags Live rolls on when we come back. Talking about the matchup here this weekend for South Alabama against Troy in the annual battle for the belt. And, Coach, we've heard a lot about Troy's defense over the years, but they've changed things up here over the last couple of weeks, right?
Yes. They they started off the season against Nicholls State, kind of a similar defense they ran last year, and then Clemson game brand new. And then they've continued to mix the both of them, which I think is smart. I mean, you don't want to let somebody know all you got is a fastball. So they've mixed it up and changed it up a little bit, and you have to look for those things, and they're good players on top of it. And I think the scheme gives them a good chance too, but they do a great job up front moving around. They can also sit there and play blocks too. Their backers do a good job of playing some overhangs and playing leverage, and their DBs do a good job of staying on top of stuff, and kind of preventing the explosive play. And then, like I said, they'll mix it up with the old defense, so you got to have your eyes ready.
And they played Clemson tough. They played Memphis tough. So this is kind of similar. You look at their record and you're like, I don't know. They're kind of in the same boat. They're a much better team than that record indicates.
Yeah, if you're still trying, I mean, they're legit. I mean, if you're still like a fan trying to figure out who are they lost to Clemson. They lost to Memphis, but they beat these 2 teams. They're legit. They're on the rise. They've got a good ball club. Even though they've lost their starting quarterback, they functioned around him. The wideouts make plays. They're big. They're physical outside. They leaned hard on a really good offensive line and run the ball, and that's what they kind of did at Buffalo, is just kind of wore them down. Didn't have much success in the first 3 quarters, but the patience to stay in a ball game like that down 17-0 and get your first blood in the first quarter and get 17-7, then get a key defensive stop, go down there and answer it, make it a 3-point game, and then score under 5 minutes to take the lead, and then hold them off defensively. That's an impressive road win.
Yeah.
How similar is this defense we'll see from Troy, the new stuff with their 3 high safety? Is it from what we saw from Coastal a couple weeks ago?
It's very similar. Very similar. The main difference is that Coastal based out of an odd front, 3-man front, which they have the ability to do. So I anticipate a lot of that. And they also can sit there and they can play in some 4-down looks and move it around, but they have some multiplicity to it. Coastal kind of setting their 3-down front. These guys will get 3 down, 4 down, but also play with an extra safety in the back end that can come down and tackle the run.
And what do you want to see us do offensively in order, not just this weekend, but as we move forward?
Number one, you got to take care of the ball. Playing a backup quarterback, they still have the ability to be explosive. You don't see 40 and 50 on the board, but they have that ability.
Right.
And they will have that ability if you don't take care of the ball offensively and you give them short fields. So that's the first thing, taking care of the ball. 3rd down, we have to stay on the field.
Yeah.
We have to stay on the field better than we have in the past. And then the 3rd thing is red zone. We were good last week. We were 3 of 3, 3 touchdowns in the red area. We need to continue that. That's the only way I liken it to basketball. Somebody makes a bucket, you got to go back down and answer. Whether they made a bucket or not, now they feel the pressure. Now you made a bucket. Now they got to go back down and answer. So you have to be able to put points on the board, but touchdowns specifically, that'll change your mindset as a play caller once the ball's kicked back off to you.
You mentioned basketball there, and I forgot we haven't even asked you about our guys over here, our tight ends that can hoop themselves a little bit. But just can you talk about that group that we've got over there? Just a whole different group of guys that we've got at our disposal.
Yeah, a lot of different talents. Trent's been here the longest. Rod's same amount of time, but Trent has the experience. He's played more on the ball. Rod has both of those abilities, can play on the ball, play off the ball. Trent can too. Miller's been able to come in and add a lot of off the ball movement things that can help us from an H position. Breck Long, who's coming off of a hand injury. All four of those guys rotate in quite a bit, keep us fresh, athletic, length. Maddox Lynch, another one, true freshman from Mississippi. He's all five of those guys. A lot of promise. Great. I'm not. You're not supposed to say this just because say it, but the reality of it is all of them are good kids.
Yeah.
They're really good kids. They work hard. They take their job seriously. You don't have to worry about them being late, missing lifts, not going to class. All those things, they take their job serious, and it's easy for me to be around them when you're a serious person, and they like to win. I like to win too, so we get along well.
Now, we have stressed that this won't happen until after the season. Okay.
Oh boy, what we got?
But these three each say they're the best in the tight ends room at basketball. And so if you had to pick.
If I had to pick one?
Yeah, who's going to be the best basketball player for you? We're playing king of the court, playing 21, whatever it may be.
I don't know.
Which one of these three? I
would take Breck, and, Breck, but Breck's not – he's out of the question. He's out of the conversation. I've heard a lot of the Thomas family's exploits, so I would probably lean more Thomas.
Okay.
But Rod has something about him, makes me think he can maybe handle the ball a little bit. But I would probably go with Thomas and Gibbs.
Okay.
I would like to see that one-on-one.
Miller keeps giving us a hard time. He's like, I'm not in the conversation over here.
All right, Miller.
He's not listening.
Believe me, this is strategic now. Yeah. This is strategic.
Use that Saturday, Miller.
Oh, I'm gonna get him tomorrow.
All right, now he's getting filled in. There you go.
Sorry, you're a great basketball player, Miller. Don't worry about it.
6 o'clock kickoff this weekend for the Jags. They take on the Troy Trojans in the annual battle for the belt. And, Coach, we've talked about it already a little bit, but this is an important game, not just for us and because it's the next game on the schedule. This is an important game for our community too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many reasons. There's a ton of reasons, but this is the one that everybody turns and looks at. This is the one that's geographic. This is the one that, neighbors next door, people down the street. I got a buddy who graduated from there. This is the one that you come back home and you talk about, and this is the one that you talk about for the next 364. And, like I told our guys, it's 9-4. You can't even it up, but you can get us one step closer and you can get this thing 9-5. And these freshmen coming in next year, those are going to be the guys that have to even it up.
Well, and I don't know the exact numbers, but last year we were in a similar situation.
Yep.
We get the win against Troy, and that kind of
flipped
the switch.
Yeah.
Flipped the switch for everything.
Springboard us. It was coming off a difficult loss at LSU, and then thought we were, still kind of hitting on all cylinders after Northwestern State and App State. And then we had to go play the monster down there in Baton Rouge. And then we thought we were still all right. And then we went up to Jonesboro and scored 13 points.
Yeah. And
lost the ball game. And, sitting there 2-4, coming back home, playing Troy, it was daunting at that point. It was kind of like, oof, where could this thing go? So that game gave us the confidence, the belt, to kind of catapult you into playing. Hey, okay, maybe we are this good. So, that it's a funny thing. It's fickle, in terms of belief, but you got to pound your way through it. You got to go to work. You got to go earn it. It will not be given. It will be a well-earned win. It will be a well-earned win. It's going to be a tough ball game, but it's going to be a tough ball game for them too. Everybody's got to be prepared to go play it.
And you and I have talked in the past too. We can talk all we want about the opponent when it comes down to us, though, right?
Yeah, we got to take care of the ball and we got to tackle, and that's really it. I mean, there's going to be some execution. There's going to be some lack of execution, but as long as it doesn't result in bad plays in terms of giving the other team the ball in a short field or missing tackles that create explosives and extend drives, there's going to be a drop ball. There's going to be an overthrown ball. There's going to be a kid catch a ball and convert a third down. That's going to happen in the ball game. That's where you just got to keep your emotions in a game like this under control. Can't get emotional. Can't beat yourself. Can't beat your own team with penalties. Absent eyes. People just not focused because they're caught up in the emotion of it. In these kind of games, they always start off that way, and then it just kind of settles in and everybody starts playing ball.
Well, we have the physical belt in front of us. I'll be honest with you. When the belt became a thing, maybe 10 years ago, somewhere along in there, I thought it was kind of silly. Yeah. But the kids went nuts for it, right? Oh, yeah. The team and just talk about how they rally around this wrestling belt.
Well, I mean, it is a cool trophy.
Yeah,
it
really
I mean,
is.
It's a lot better than a bucket, or an axe or something. Well, I know the axe is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But there's just so many different things. I mean, you turn on college football and you're just like, what are they running? Is it Apple Cup?
Right.
Like, what are we talking about? So there's so many different things. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's just like when you're a kid, whether you're playing for pride or playing for a Snickers or whatever it is. It's just I won this and you didn't. And at the end of the day, it is a cool trophy. It is cool to have.
Yeah.
And, we're going to work our tails off to make sure we keep it here.
And we display it year-round, right?
Year-round. It sits in the front of our office. It's, in the front of our foyer area, along with all the guys that we've had go to the Senior Bowl. But that sits there in proud display, and we'll always have that trophy case.
I think I saw that New Mexico and Mexico State is it's like a roller, like a rotisserie with chili peppers in it.
Really?
That's not a football trophy.
I
don't want that thing.
I'm sure some sponsors getting something off that.
Probably.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just didn't expect that much excitement from the team in that very first year, man. From that first year, it's taken off.
It's it's just a sign of getting a little bit older. But you'd be amazed at the things that excite guys.
Right.
I mean, just during fall camp, it's hot. And it's like let's guys get off the field. Can we go to tropical smoothie and just get 100 smoothies and the guys just have a smoothie after his practice on Friday? And I mean, you just thought everybody got a new Lamborghini. I mean, sometimes it's Mark Hughes comes out with a new shirt or a new style of socks, and I mean that's the buzz of the locker room.
Interesting.
So it jars you a little bit, and you're like, okay, all right, this is where their heads are at. I got it. These are the type of things, but that's part of program building and doing things that the kids enjoy. It just can't be X's and O's all the time. You've got to do some things to build some excitement and some fun things, and just little extra in your program.
Well, we'll stay in Montgomery here this weekend for the game. We're actually staying in the same spot we played for Auburn, so that helps with familiarity and knowing where you need to go for your meetings and whatnot, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I like that hotel. I like that hotel. Not necessarily because of the Auburn result, but it's a nice hotel. We stayed across the street at the bowl game, and I like where we're staying.
Yeah. Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck here coming up against Troy.
Go Jags.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
All right, it's head coach Major Applewhite here from Walk-Ons. Jags Live, presented by Eco South Services. We'll wrap up here for one final segment when we come back.
Yeah, so what happened?
Got a great turnout, great show down here at Walk-Ons here for the annual.
I love it.
Yeah, I love a little rowdiness here on the broadcast.
Troy week. It should be loud, right?
It's been a lot of fun down here, and if you're in the restaurant here, if you're here for the show or if you're here just to grab some dinner, make sure that you go over and grab yourself one of those free Beat Troy T-shirts before you hit the exit as well. Would love to see you, of course, wear it up in Troy.
Wear it 24/7.
Yeah, wear
man.
it all the time.
I don't care where Beat. You can never go wrong with a Beat Troy.
Absolutely.
T-shirt.
Yep. So we've got plenty of those over there. Be sure to grab one on your way out as well, and hopefully we're bringing that belt back here next week so you guys can take some pictures with it and enjoy another Jaguar victory in that all-time series.
Well, we got a chance to do a little preview. We do that every week, and we do a thing called the Video Vault where we look back at some games. I don't know when that gets posted, but if it hadn't been posted yet, it will be soon. We were able to go back and look at that 2017 game in Troy. And, boy, some of the names, man. You had Dallas Davis with a touchdown. Xavier Johnson got a rushing touchdown there. If you remember that game, we had a safety because they actually fumbled in their own end zone. They were able to jump back on it, but we were up 9-0 at one point. Jeremy Reeves got an interception. We had Gavin Patterson with a field goal. We were up 19-0. They score with about 6 minutes to go to make it 19-8, and that was the final score.
The classic score.
Yeah, so what are the squares? If you had the squares for this one. Whoever drew the 9 and the 8 was sitting pretty. But that was a time when Troy had just beaten LSU in Baton Rouge, and we had not played very well. Go into Troy and get that win. That's the last time we've been able to go over there and get victories. We've been close a couple of times, but I think this is a very even matchup. I still don't exactly have a handle on Troy yet.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know which team we're going to get. I know that we're going to get an athletic team. I know we're going to get a well-coached team. Obviously, as Coach said, they run the football. But we've got, we don't talk a lot about field position. We've got to win the battle of field position because giving them short fields, I think that's one of the things that hurt them against Buffalo or hurt Buffalo against them. and we cannot get into a situation where we're giving them short fields and we're having long fields to be able to do it. But I will say it again, man, if we do what I think, what I've seen us do, if we can do that consistently, I'll take us against anybody, man. Anybody in the Sun Belt Conference.
Hey, you mentioned the Troy beat LSU, and then we beat them the week after. So a funny story. Troy had defeated LSU. It was LSU's homecoming. So Troy put on their social media, hey, LSU, thanks for having us for homecoming. We'd love to come back anytime. Well, a week and a half later, when we play them on a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever it is, and we beat Troy, I was running social media back then for the department, and I post, hey, Troy, thanks for having us. We'd love to come back anytime. I got in trouble for that. That was not taken well. But it was all in fun. It was all in fun for a win.
But, the thing is, we've seen in this rivalry, I know last year the SGA went around the campus at South Alabama, and any place there was a T, they put a red X through it. And I think that's fun.
Yeah.
Man. I think it's good for the fans to get involved. The Beat Troy shirts, they do the J's down to us.
Yeah.
I like that. I think it's not mean-spirited. It's, they want to win as much as we do, and, it's an in-state rivalry. So I think anything's fair game. And I really I know Troy, especially in the past, has brought a lot of people to our place. Let's bring a lot of people up there. Let's go get a victory.
Absolutely. Let's do that. 6 o'clock kickoff, 4 o'clock pregame on the Jags Radio Network. The battle for the belt coming up this weekend. Let's keep this belt back home.
Let's do it.
Kickoff at 6. Jay's up. Go Jags, everybody.